Steve Schmidt is a guy, a disaffected Republican who has now devoted his life to the defeat of the incumbent president. Tell me about the Joe Biden you got to see and got to know through television tonight.
I think that, with no hyperbole, that this might be the most important political speech that I've heard in my 49 years. And I say that as somebody who's worked at the highest level of American politics, worked at the highest level of two presidential campaigns. We won one, we lost one. I can't, though, think of a more high-stakes speech at a more critical moment. We're in the middle of one of the great crises this country has ever faced. We have nearly 200,000 dead Americans. We'll certainly be across that number by the time we vote on Election Day in November. We have a wrecked economy. We have 1 million shattered dreams. We have chaos as the kids are getting ready to go back to school. We have a president who lacks the moral, the mental, the intellectual skills to be able to do the job. And what we saw tonight was a man who embraced the light, who spoke against the darkness. And in the end, what the American people got to see is the fundamental choice laid out. And the choice is as simple as this. It is between a good man and a very bad man, between a decent man and an indecent man, between a moral man and an amoral man, between a global statesman who's respected around the world and an international laughingstock and a clown. It's between somebody who is fidelitous to the American Constitution, to democracy, and someone who has an illiberal and autocratic disposition and personality. And so the vice president tonight laid it out. And I think it was so powerful when he said what has not been said, but has been needed saying for so long, which is that, hey, I understand that not everyone's going to vote for me, but I'm going to work as hard as the American president for the people who oppose me as I will for the people who supported me. What he was saying in that moment is we're all in it together. And the president of the United States is not the chief of a warring faction of the country that's at war with the other half of the country. We saw decency tonight. We saw empathy tonight. We saw dignity. We saw the possibility of American renewal and restoration laid out in the greatest speech that Joe Biden has delivered in his long public career, but also one of the most important political speeches framing the most fundamentally important choice this country has faced in an election since we voted in November of 1864 and decided in that election whether we would remain a United States, whether the Union would endure or not.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.